request for an interview. While General Mark Brown wouldn't give us an interview either, he did talk to NBC's Lisa Myers in the spring.
Are you aware that an Army colonel who oversaw the testing of dragon skin now works for one of the companies making the Army's current body armor?
Yes, I'm aware.
And you're not troubled?
No, I'm not troubled at all.
And you don't see a conflict of interest at all?
Not since he followed all the laws and regulations and ethical rules about post-service employment. No, I don't see a conflict.
We asked Winslow Wheeler, a longtime Capitol Hill staffer turned defense spending watchdog, for his reaction.
The law is full of loopholes, and they're not even enforcing what tatters are left of the old revolving door legislation.
And the practice of someone leaving the military for a job with a company he awarded contracts to?
It's standard behavior. It's the way the system works. It's the way the system keeps itself going.
Now based at Camp Pendleton, Lieutenant General James Mattis commanded Marines in Iraq and Afghanistan. He thinks procurement officers are obvious choices for industry.
We're all human, and I can't say that something like that couldn't exist, but I can tell you that when probably more than 75–80% of the officers at Quantico are fresh back from fighting overseas, and the rest of them are probably preparing their sea bags to go overseas, it's not an environment in which that sort of thing would be allowed to exist for long, simply out of the self-interest of those Marines who are there and who have the interests of their troops at heart, who they've been fighting alongside.
But there's evidence of other interests as well. The main Interceptor contractor over the years has been Point Blank. Yet, in 2005, the Marine Times reported that Point Blank's Interceptor vests had been failing quality tests for 2 years and were now experiencing actual penetrations by bullets they were designed to repel. Marine Colonel Gabe Patricio had issued waivers to send thousands of Point Blank vests from the same test lots to the front, despite complaints from the civilian tester that they would jeopardize lives. You waived Point Blank vests.
I waived those particular lots, that's correct.
Why? Because they'd passed his own test at a private lab, says Patricio. And vests were badly needed at the front.
In my conscience, I could not be sitting on 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 vests that were sitting in a dispute that I was absolutely convinced, after seeing independent testing, that they should leave, go to the field, and provide Marines the protection that I believed they deserved.
But fueling doubt about the procurement process is the long list of this same company's trials and tribulations. Point Blank had already been sued by several police departments, accusing them of making defective vests. The Point Blank vests Patricio waived were recalled from Iraq, 5,000 of them. Point Blank's parent company, DHB, was at the time the subject of a Defense Department and a criminal investigation, still ongoing. DHB's former president, who signed the waivers with Colonel Patricio, is under criminal indictment for accounting fraud. Meanwhile, 3 people who worked for Colonel Patricio in the Marines went to work for Point Blank's parent, DHB. Patricio himself retired 2 years ago and set up a company to consult with the military on the testing of, among other things, body armor. Yet he insists the revolving door isn't necessarily what it seems. What don't people who are suspicious of it not understand about the revolving door?
Well, we all have a right to make a living. There's a certain workforce required in the area to perform these services, and clearly there are people that come off of uniform, or quite frankly from the civil service as well, that have those skills and expertise that are necessary to help the government continue to do its business, or the private sector, and so it seems like a natural transition. Natural to some,
suspect to others.
The SEC's filed an investigation on them. The stockholders have they filed suit against them. The Marines had some quality control issue with some of the vests, but somehow Point Blank kept getting the orders. I mean, it's bewildering to me how this is how this can be justified.
In fact, Point Blank continues to make Interceptor body armor vests for our troops, getting a contract just this June for another $50 million. Meanwhile, rival Dragonskin is still banned by the Army and Marines and is under threat of debarment by the Air Force. Families like the LaRosas, however, won't be convinced until someone else tests Interceptor against Dragonskin.
Go to Consumer Report, go to the police department, whoever anybody trusts, put him on an open field, shoot at him. The one that comes out the best, if he happens to be Interceptor, I eat my words.
The Army has requested submissions for new body armor testing this fall, but no head-to-head testing against Interceptor, independent or not, is scheduled or contemplated.
Part 2 in Paul's series looks at the guns the troops are using.